Hey everybody, it's Emily from LifterLMS. I am here alone today. Kurt's out, but we'll be able to talk through any pre-sales questions you have. This call is for users who are getting started with LifterLMS, getting into the ecosystem. We can show you demos, we can show you products, we can show you how to build what you're looking for, or answer any questions you have in the chat. I don't have access to the pre-sent in questions. So if you sent in a question beforehand and you want your question answered on stream, drop it in the chat again and we can dive in. I see Robert's in the chat with a question already. Let me know how your day is going, where you're calling in from, and I'll start diving into some questions. So Robert said, I successfully created a blog and added 2 pictures, but the standard blue cloud pic is still hanging around. How do I remove it? So let's see. I'm going to pull up a demo site here. I'll share my screen. I'm having a little bit of a late start today, and without my compatriot Kurt, it's always going to be a little bit harder, but we should be able to get through. So if you give me 1 minute, I'll pull up a demo site and we'll talk through that. The blue cloud picture is something I'm a little bit confused on what we're referring to there. I can try to find out if it's like a Sky Pilot thing or something like that. So my site is loading. I'll present my screen. Sites here. And here it goes. So I assume we're looking at the stock photo in the featured image catalog. And correct me if I'm wrong. Robert is in San Antonio, Texas. Awesome. And so Robert, can you let me know, are you on this catalog page here, this blue clouds? Is this what we're looking at? If this is the right photo. I assume it is. So I created a blog post and I had 2 pictures, but the standard blue pic is still hanging around. And so this is the Sky Pilot featured image fallback image. So here it is. This is a test for Emily. Is the post I created? Yes, it's the one above Emily's course. Perfect. So when we are editing this blog post, for example, the way we'll change that picture normally is going to be the featured image. And sometimes there can be a mix-up with the template itself, the way the page is set up to display. But usually the way that we'll set an image, and I'd recommend you give this a try, and if it doesn't work, I can talk through some other potential issues, but is this featured image in the upper right-hand corner when we're editing. We can set a picture here, set featured image, save that, and then on the front end, we should see something a little bit different. So if I go to blog, we should see that this is now my featured image. So if you can give that one a try, that might just solve it for you. And if it doesn't, if anyone's having other problems with this, it might have to do with how the template is set up for the blog post archive. SkyPilot is one of those themes that's really complex, and what I was imagining we might dive into today is an in-depth demo of SkyPilot building something really complicated if we don't have a lot of questions coming in. I'm happy to do something like that. But on my template here, I'm editing the actual template for my blog post archive. And so it has the featured image set to display here. Sometimes, whether you're working with a developer or something like that, this may have gotten switched. So it's not looking for the featured image, it's looking for something else. And so that can be a source of confusion in niche cases as well. Haha, you did that so fast. Hopefully it wasn't too fast to hang on to, but I can show it again. If we just edit our blog post, edit post, it's going to be that upper right-hand corner is where we're going to grab the featured image. Right over here, and we can replace it or remove it, and that'll apply to courses, that'll apply to blog posts, all the posts. So we'll edit our blog post, featured image in the upper right corner, And then that should be good to go. Just that one here. I was trying to write it down. Yes. Yeah, I feel you. So all you need to do is edit post and then find featured image in right hand corner. And also, sometimes when you're editing a post, you might see block or post at the top here. And so we need to make sure we're clicking on the post icon to see all of our settings. And that's should be right there at the top. It's along with categories and restrict membership access. These are our post settings. For some users, these don't show up because they may have clicked this little X icon. And so this is all they see. But if you pop it out with this this left-hand menu or right-hand menu, that's the settings, it'll come back. Got it. Awesome, awesome. Will anyone else let us know in the chat if you have some comments? It looks like Robert has another question. So I'm having difficulty creating the course catalog. I see at the bottom of the page, but I thought it would be on the navigation menu. Okay. The lesson I created is not under the catalog help. Okay, yeah, I can absolutely talk about how the course catalog works. So in LifterLMS, we add courses on the back end here. So all your courses will be on the back end of WordPress, but to display them on the front in the course catalog, we'll need to add them to the menu somehow. And I know because of the featured image question, we're using SkyPilot specifically. Each theme might do the course catalog a little bit differently, but how a SkyPilot would add course catalog to a menu is a little bit complicated, and I can show you this, but you might have to refer back to the video because it's a multi-step process. I'm not a big fan of the full site editing menus right now, but I just think they're a little complicated. But I'll walk through step by step. So how we would add our course catalog to our menu. First, we need to make sure that it's a page on our website. Sometimes LifterLMS users won't have it as a page on their website. Step one, make sure the page exists, LifterLMS course catalog. And then if we view the page, we can see if it displays okay. So this is my catalog out of the box. It should look something like this. And once we know that we have the page and it displays okay, we can add it to the menu. And so how we would do that is go to Appearance, Editor. And this is where it gets a little bit complicated, but we'll walk through it slowly. And so I created a tutorial for SkyPilot almost immediately when it came out, and then it changed like 3 months later. The WordPress changed how this full site editing navigator works. So from time to time, this left-hand sidebar will change how things are organized. But as it stands today, when we want to edit our menus, like our menu at the top here, we can head to templates. We'll head to navigation in a second, but we want to make sure that we have a menu in our header. So let's make sure first that we have a menu in our header. So I think it's templates, maybe not back out of templates. Maybe it's patterns now. See, I'm confused. Yes, patterns. So under patterns, I have a header block, header pattern. And so there's my header pattern. If I click on it, it launches me into the editor. So here we're editing just our header block. And I have an out-of-the-box navigation installed here, but if you don't see a navigation installed here, then we can add one. I like to click on this setting document overview at the top because it shows me on the left side everything going on here. Because if I don't have this open, I'm looking at this and this is very confusing. So having this layout on the side shows me exactly what I'm editing. And so right now I have like a group that contains all of my elements, one big nested group. Within that group, there's a row, and I don't know why, it's just how it came out of the box. And then there's a row that contains my site title and my navigation, and then there's a couple of buttons over on the right side. So I want to make sure I have a navigation element on my header there. And once I have this navigation item, I can edit this. So step 1, make sure the page is there. Step 2, edit the navigation for your website or add navigation to your header. So if I delete this because maybe it's missing on your site, to add it back in, I'll click this plus at the upper corner. We'll find a navigation element. I'm using Cadence Blocks, a free plugin. I always recommend Cadence Blocks for a lot of websites because it takes your WordPress editor and upgrades it, but we can also do navigation, the one that comes out of the box. So I clicked on the navigation block, and so it inserted the navigation item with all of these options on it, but you said that courses might not have appeared here. So let's say courses is missing. If we want to add a page to this menu, we will click on the navigation block. I like to do it on the right-hand panel over here. We can do it right here in the middle, but I don't like this interface. I like to do it over on the right-hand side. So we'll click the plus, we'll click page link, and then we'll add, I think it's courses. Yes, /courses. And here it is. We could rename it to course catalog if we wanted to. We could change the link, but this is a page link block within a navigation block. And so then we'll save this, and this is how we will add courses to our header. So now you can see I have course catalog over here and my new navigation at the top. So let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that. I know that was a lot of information we went through, but this is how users will navigate to your course catalog from the header on the front end of your website. Awesome. Delphine King in the chat. Delphine Kinvig, sorry. Kinvig, welcome to the call. I love your last name. Kinvig. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And Robert says, I will review the video. Perfect. Delphine, welcome back. I've seen your name before. So good morning. 17 Celsius, minus 17 Celsius in Canada. Oh my gosh. I'm going to look up what that is. That's cold. That is 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. Okay. That's cold. Definitely colder than where I'm at. It's like 20 or 30 Fahrenheit here, which I think is about 0. 32 is 0 Celsius. So that definitely, I'm glad I'm not in as cold of an environment as you're in, but I found something that might be beneficial for us, but I'd like it clarified. As I've said in the past, and I'm trying to retrieve certificate data and move it over from the website in India. Okay. Trying to retrieve certificate data. When I look in users reports, I see where certificates and achievements are available for display, but I'm not sure if I can actually enter the certificate date there. It looks like I can. I would love to be able to write a piece of software to enter the data for all my users who've written as exams in India. Good question. Let's see. So writing custom code for this would probably be a good solution. I can talk through the certificate system for anyone who's new to LifterLMS or might not be familiar with how certificates and achievements work, but then I'll talk about the custom code solution and what my recommended steps would be for this. So as far as entering a certificate or an achievement inside of LifterLMS, that'll be under engagements, and then we have both certificates and achievements here. And so for a certificate, this is where we would design what our certificate template is going to look like. So if I'm adding a new course with a new certificate, we'll say Emily's course completion certificate. And then we can customize what this looks like. We can change the background from this gray border to something new, but I'll just do something basic. Congrats. Presented to user display name for demonstration of excellence on a date with a title. Again, we can change the background, we can customize it, we can even change the orientation of the certificate. But for now, let's just look at something, see if we have something pretty basic here. That looks great. And then there's two ways to award a certificate in LifterLMS. The normal primary way that it's done is when a user completes a course, they'll get a certificate from engagement to add new. So this would be completes the course. So when a student completes a course, I'm going to select which course. I think I have my test course, Emily's course. We're going to award a certificate, and then I'll select my certificate from the list, and so here it is. So this is how students will automatically earn a certificate when they complete a course. And so that'll be passing all the quizzes, passing all the assignments, and reaching 100% progress. And the engagement system can be used for things that are much more powerful than just completes a course. You could say when a student creates an account, I want to send them an email. And so there's other ways that the system can be used, but this is pretty normal for certificates. Also, you can add certificates the second way by going to awarded certificates, add awarded certificate. And this is going to ask you to select a student on your website. So we're going to select a student, and then we're going to select a template to manually award them a certificate. We'll talk about the ways that you can do this with custom code in a minute too. But we'll create a draft for this student with this certificate template, and then we'll click publish, and this will manually award them that certificate. So two ways to do it, the automatic engagements or manually. But then LifterLMS has a REST API. And so this REST API, I think it can interact with certificates. I'm not sure. Let's find out. Can it? I don't know. So courses, lessons, sections, access plans, instructors, students, webhooks. I don't see certificates as something we can interact with here. But there's probably a way that we can do this. Let me see if I can open up a local website, and I could talk a little bit about how I would recommend custom developing this. So the idea is that we have a bunch of students on a separate website who have written exams in India, and I want to transfer those certificates over to my website. I'm assuming, right? Let me read this again. I would love to be able to write a piece of software to enter the data for all of my users who have written exams in India. Can I do that? Okay. So for a bunch of users who've already done exams on a separate website, we want to port those over. So this definitely would be some custom code. I wonder if I can open this website. Let's see what I can do. I'm opening a local website on my computer in the background because this is how I can do some more custom code stuff that I can't usually do on our regular demo sites. So here we go. We're looking for engagement certificates, and what you're probably looking to do with your software is write something that goes into the database for the certificates. So here is my database for my local website. I'm going to add a certificate real quick so that I have an example to work with. Example certificate, publish. I should give it a title too. You've completed the course. Save. Okay, so we have our sample certificate created. We have an awarded certificate. Let me award this to myself. Username. We'll do, did I call it? Example certificate. Create draft. So I'm going to award myself a sample certificate, and then we can look in the database to see how this appears. And so here we go. Let's reload. Where are certificates stored? I assume they're posts, I think. So if we go to posts, let me find my certificate awarded here. So the awarded certificate, if I click on the post, in the URL bar, I see it says 35. So that's my post ID for this certificate presented to username. And we'll have to break down kind of how this works. So certificate 35. So let's see if we can, is this all of my rows? Can I not see? Oh, here we go. Post author is one. Okay. So we're looking for 35 over here. Post parent. Where's my post ID? Should be somewhere. Oh, there it is. So the post ID right here should be 35. Here it is. So now that we've located in the database the certificate I created, we can see how the certificate is generated here, like what data the website has that holds the certificate. So then when you are writing a piece of software to integrate your data from India that you have already into your WordPress database, you just want to make sure that it kind of complies with what's going on here. So the software would need to automatically generate a post ID that does not conflict with one that's already there, because the next post ID will be 36, 37, 38, and a lot of WordPress websites have hundreds of thousands of posts. So it will generate a unique post ID in WordPress. There's a function, I think, in WordPress custom code to do that. Development generate unique post ID. I'm pretty sure WP unique ID. So I think this is how we can come up with a unique ID for WordPress as a developer. So they use something like this. They'll come up with a unique post ID for each of your subsequent certificates, and they'll assign a user as the author, whatever the user ID. My user ID is 1 because it was the first post on the website. We will grab a post date. I think post modified, and then yeah, so we'll assign a post date, and I think the post date is what the I'm pretty sure that's what the date earned is going to be by default. You'll have to test it, but I'm pretty sure that this date is what will change the awarded certificate there. So it's like February 6th, and so if I post date GMT, can I change this to like edit post date? Where was it? Post. There it is. All the way at the top. I don't know if this will update it, but let's see. Save. Reload. Yeah. Might not be that one, but we'll have to poke around and figure out exactly which one is the post date, and then that will be where your earned date will go. And then you can add in the text for the title, which I said you've completed the course, and then all of the WordPress block content. So the software that you have will take whatever the format is of the data you have, preferably in something like a spreadsheet. It'll format it in this WordPress block text and then dump it into the database with a unique post ID. And that's how I would recommend going about creating some custom software. You'd want to work with a developer at lifterlms.com/experts. We have some developers, but there's also developers on Upwork and other platforms you can find online. So let me know if that gives you a little more of a clearer picture of what that software exactly would do. You can show your developer this part of the video, and that's my recommendation, is to have a plugin that you have, custom plugin that creates these unique certificates based on a database being uploaded of certificates. Maybe it's like a massive folder with a bunch of, hopefully not PDFs. PDFs are hard to read, but hopefully it's like a spreadsheet or something like that. And yeah, a custom developer could absolutely do that for you. So let me know in the chat, anybody, if you have any other questions. It looks like we have reached the bottom of the list of questions so far. So I can talk about, I guess, any questions that come in, we'll talk about those, but I'll dive into a demo of SkyPilot and how to use it, because we do get a lot of questions specifically about the SkyPilot theme and the full site editor, and a lot of new users are working with the full site editor in SkyPilot. And so the area I find I get most lost is when I'm looking at this part of the editor, where I'm looking at my navigation menus, I'm looking at the styles, the site-wide styles versus the template styles. So when you have SkyPilot installed, you have full website styling. So this is going to be typography that applies to all of your buttons, all of your captions, all of your headings, all of your text. But then within each of your templates, like if you're working on a course template, for example, you can override the individual styles that are on the global level. So if I set my typography for my global site to be font family Arial, but then I want my courses to have a different font family, I can edit the course template and change that. Or if I want my lessons to have a different button color than my general website button color, I can do that. And so let's see if I can find the single course template here. A lot of users want their courses to look differently than they do out of the box. And SkyPilot gives you a lot of customization to do that, but sometimes the complexity makes it too hard to figure out. If I jump into one of my courses now, we can see how the full site editor here reflects the changes to what I do. So if I jump to view a course, here we go. So this is what our course page looks like out of the box, and then this is what our template looks like. And so if we go back and forth, we can see it looks relatively similar. We have our featured image over here on the right side. We have some ominous warning message that says your site doesn't include support for the LMS progress block. But then I don't see the LMS progress block. Maybe I should enroll in the course. Let me enroll in the course real quick. So I have my saved credit card. Let's buy now. Should see the progress bar. Just want to make sure that it works. There it goes. So we have 7% progress. So we do have the progress block. I don't know why it says your site doesn't support it, but if for some reason you accidentally removed it or intentionally because you saw an error, let's see if I can replace it with a shortcode. So there should be a progress shortcode on here, course progress 11. We can take these little shortcodes and we can put them into our template. So if for some reason I deleted my course progress and I want it back, I can add a shortcode block and paste in course progress, and that should maintain the same layout that I have here. And then the syllabus block is over here on the right hand side. We also have the course outline, but there's often something like, hey, what if I want to add a contact the instructor button? That's a really popular one. We could put a button on our sidebar that says contact the instructor or ask the instructor. We could link to another page on our website, potentially like a contact page. Why didn't this save? Do I need to put a link? Let's find out. Well, now I have a bug. I can figure out why my template is not applying to my course. So I'm editing the single course template. And if I come in here, this post Let's find out which template it's using. It's using the single course template. So that's definitely confusing. And I'm not seeing my cool button on the side. Let's see if I can add a cool button over in the middle and see if that fixes it. So this experience of going through and modifying your content and seeing weird things pop up that don't quite feel right is pretty normal. But I do want to figure out why is my button not showing up? Can I get anything to show up? Could I like delete the title element and would that affect the page? No, it did not. So this makes me think that I have some kind of a caching issue potentially. I don't know why I would have caching issues on this server, but before I start messing with the template further, I'm going to figure out if a caching plugin were to fix this. I don't recommend installing a lot of caching plugins on your website because they can frequently lead to issues. I just imagine that this demo server might have a weird caching mechanism going. And so let's give it a try and see if that's what's going on. And I could also just be completely in the wrong place. That's sometimes how it goes. So performance, let's go ahead and purge the cache. I hope this doesn't work. If this works, then that's not great. Okay, so it's probably not a caching issue. Let's turn the caching off for now. Let's get deactivated. Okay. So my course template option isn't really working. Let's troubleshoot this. So I'm using the single course template, edit template. This editor has encountered an unexpected error. That doesn't look great. I'm in a college planning course. Let's see if this works on any of my other courses, like a financial independence course. Yeah, this is looking like exactly the same. If I edit site, and then where am I at? I'm on the single course template, and the single course template looks different. Why does it look different than my other editor? Like if I remove the title as a test and save, let's close this one. Courses, view course. There it goes. So now I can edit the single course template. I'm curious, do I have like 2 templates or something that are called single course? 404 page, we have single course, group posts, lesson quiz. We have course catalog and we have single course. I don't know why those changes weren't applying, but I guess now they are. That's fine. So jumping in here, I wanted to add a contact instructor button. Contact the instructor. And then we might also want to change the background color of this section. That's a pretty common thing for people to want to do, to stylistically separate this right-hand side from the left-hand middle. So how we might do that is by using the items that are nested, like the featured image and the button and the progress and syllabus block are all within this column. And so the settings pertaining to this column will stylistically apply to the page. So if I do a background color of like a gray, and then if I were to do little padding around the sides and around the top, and then maybe like a border of 2 pixels, make it black. Let's see if this works. So we should have this little area on the right side is now kind of isolated visually, and we could edit our lesson template to look very similarly. I don't love the way that looks, but it's kind of a cool example. Let's add some corner rounding so that the corners are a little more round there. And then if we wanted to do the same change to our lesson template, we could do that. So editing the lesson, I could edit the edit site. It'll take me to my single lesson template. Again, we'll look at the columns setup where this featured image stuff is all in that bottom column. And then we can go to styles for the column. I selected a background color. Oh, that was a green background, the blue one. I selected a semi-translucent background color. You can also create your own color with your own opacity right here. And then we can do, I did a little padding on the sides. I did a border of 2 pixels that was black. And then I did a border radius of 10. So I just copied all my settings. And then if I go back to my lesson, here it is, oops, into my lesson. Now I have this right in my lesson. And then I could also have the contact the instructor button be here as well. So if we wanted to say button contact instructor, that could appear as well. You might see that there's an image on the lesson pages that's going to display the featured image for the lesson. So each lesson can have its own featured image as well. We talked about that at the start of the call, but it also applies to lessons. So if this lesson had this featured image and then we save, it displays in a couple of places. I do like featured images on lessons because they add some visualness to your catalog. Like here, it adds it to our template, but it also adds it into the syllabus directly. And it looks really weird when we have, you know, one lesson with a featured image and other lessons without a featured image. But let's add a featured image to 2 lessons and we can see what that looks like. I'll show you a real world example of this too. That's not just like pictures of butterflies and rainbows. But let me show you just kind of what the preview of this is going to look like with each lesson having a featured image on it. Sometimes I think this is a little visually overwhelming, what we're looking at here with so many pictures on the right hand side of my lesson navigation. So we might want to simplify the layout. I can show you how to simplify the layout in a few interesting ways too. But back on our main course page, this is going to be way overstimulating visually, but I'll show you an example of where it's done really well. academy.lifterlms.com. This is a course I put together like a long time ago, but it was the Enroll Summit. We did these featured images for each lesson where the expert is on the front and then the name of the lesson is behind them. And so it kind of adds a little bit of a flair to your syllabus. And so this is something that can be easily done in Canva or whatever your photo editing software of choice is. And I see Delphine is in the chat as well, so we can jump onto some of those questions too. So Delphine can do export from India as a spreadsheet. That's perfect. That's going to be really important for your custom development to have an easy to work with format like that. Could you demonstrate an FAQ using Gutenberg? We can absolutely talk about FAQ. So an FAQ is something that you might want to add to a page on your website or into a course or lesson. Either way, it will be in the WordPress block editor. Maybe I'll create it on the home page. I'm imagining this is a sales page, but you could also have a dedicated page for FAQs. For example, I have a contact page where I answer a lot of FAQs. If I show you this is one way that you can do an FAQ in a practical sense. I have the weird dark mode, light mode thing going, but on my contact page directly, I put a lot of answers to questions that people ask me. And it's not even in a very popular FAQ format with toggles. I'll show you how to do toggles. Like for example, if we go to wpfusion.com/pricing, a lot of FAQs will look something like this, where, you know, you have popular questions on one of your pages, and it has a little drop down. And so this is the most popular way to do it, but this is another way that it can be done. It's just dropping text on a page. And so, but I'm going to say that we're doing it the WP Fusion pricing way. So I recommend having FAQs relatively low on your page, because if people are looking at an FAQ, they're usually considering buying your product already. So it doesn't need to be the first and foremost thing that appears in your header. Usually it's nice to have it right before the buying decision on something like a pricing page. So let's say you've looked at your course instructors, you are passing on this call to action. Maybe the bottom is a good place for an FAQ. So we will do, let's see if we have an accordion option. I think details is probably going to be the closest thing with WordPress out of the box that we have. But like I said, we have cadence blocks as well. Spectra is another one. There's a lot of free plugins that give you more blocks to work with on your WordPress site. So I like the accordion from Cadence Blocks because it gives us so many styles. Like there's this style, this one. You can choose whatever you want this to look like. And then you can say, how do you offer refunds? What does it look like to work with you? And so then you can say, add some blocks in here. Yes, we offer refunds. What does it look like to work with you? Let's put a paragraph here. We work on Zoom and on courses. And so we can do our FAQ this way, but we can also do it with the WordPress out of the box way, which is this details block. I'll copy this over so we can see both layouts. Within my details block, I think I need to do another details block in order to have a second one. So that's a little more janky than I would like it to be, but it is what it is. So we work on Zoom and on courses. So we have our two FAQ blocks. Let's put a heading to distinguish them. FAQ2, and then this is FAQ1. So like if we move this up here, move it up, no. Where is it? What's going on? FAQ should be outside of the detail block. FAQ1, and then did I put FAQ2? No, put it right there. Okay. So then we have our two FAQ examples. And if I view the page, all the way at the bottom, oh, and they're already crowded on the left and right hand side, so I might as well fix that by putting them in a group, and then I'm going to make this group 1000 pixels wide. That way it won't rub up against the side of the page. So we have FAQ1. Do you offer refunds? I don't like this one as much. The visual nature of it's not as good to me. But then this one has a nice smooth transition when you open these boxes. You could open up multiple boxes. You can change the styling so much more on the cadence blocks one, where like if I'm customizing my accordion, they add like the title colors. So if you want that to be like an interesting text color, you have complete control over what these look like. You can change even the hover color, which is awesome. Can I change the hover background? Like, you know, like this is kind of cool that you can hover over it and have that change. Just a lot more settings to work with. Over here, you can change like, you know, the background color a little bit, but you can't like separate the title background from the content background. So that's why I like the accordion block the most. So yeah, that's how to do an FAQ with Gutenberg or the WordPress block editor. And these are good to add to your lessons, to courses, like even outside of your homepage or pricing page. Having these within lessons could link to resources. And actually, this leads perfectly into what I was going to show next as to why this is so overwhelming and how to fix it. So on the course page, you might want it to look like this. I want to remove this one from the middle because I don't like it there. So like, oh, it's in the post content of the course. So you can see here, I have the content block along with my sidebar. So anything in the content block is going to be pulled from this page, editing the page directly. Oh, the one thing about Cadence blocks is when you install it, there's a weird bug with Lifter. I don't know why. I think it's a problem with Cadence blocks, but at the top of my page, like right here, you can see it's like flickering in and out. That doesn't really affect anything. It's just the design library button is fighting the course builder button for who's the best button. But let me delete the syllabus because I don't want it there. I want it on the right hand sidebar, like over here. So it's a little cleaner. And another option, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe we'll put the syllabus back and maybe we'll do it a different way. So if I put a syllabus back here, course syllabus, let's remove it from the sidebar and modify my course layout. So if I edit my site, I'm editing my single course layout. I should put the title back too while I'm here. Let's put a title block right here. So I want to add let me add a block title, post title, move it up. Okay, great. Now let's remove the sidebar because the sidebar is maybe a layout I decided I don't want to go with anymore. So we have a single column with 100% width. Save that. We can go to my course now, view my course. And so I should have a single column with 100% width. Now it looks a little weird because my spacing is off, but it's closer. It's closer. Why is my spacing weird? This content is within a group. So, can I take all of this content too, put it in a group, and then force this group to use content width? Let's see if this works. There it goes. Okay. So this is a little better. Maybe I'll put a featured image for the course or something at the top. But then within the lessons directly, I might want to mimic this. If I still think this is overwhelming to have this panel on the right-hand side, I could edit my lessons as well. And maybe instead of having the syllabus right here, instead of having the syllabus just appearing, making my page super tall, because you saw when I was like editing my lesson, I have a million tabs open. When I was on my lesson page, this is like super tall. And if I had a bunch of pictures on every lesson, it would be like the page you'd have to scroll for like a minute to get to the bottom. And so we could put an accordion or a details block. I'll do the details block because it's WordPress out of the box. I don't even know if this will work. Let's try it. Let's put a short code here and paste it in course navigation, something like this. Let's see if it works. Save. And then if I go back to my lesson, I edited this. Here we go. Yes, it does. Okay, so course navigation is here and I can click and open it and close it so that I have a short page. So it's very condensed for my device, but then I can open it up and scroll down infinitely if I want to. But mostly I would just be navigating next lesson, previous lesson, but I could look at the full outline if I want to. And I would emphasize this more. I would probably do a Cadence accordion block if you're willing to install that plugin, because that'll make it much nicer. You could turn it into like a button. Like we could go like this accordion, this kind of accordion. I could put an accordion inside of a different accordion. That would only serve to confuse. Okay, but let's see. So let's take our shortcode block and put it within the accordion. Here into what they call a pane. I don't need the second pane because we're just going to do course navigation. And then we'll add some styling to it right here. So accordion style background. Let's call it like a orange, right? And then hover an active background green. Those, oh no, I clicked out of it. Those colors are a little aggressive, but they're cool. So font settings. Can I do center aligned on the font family? I don't know if I can. No, advanced title tag settings, structure settings. I don't know if I can do center aligned for my title. That's okay. I don't need to. That's fine. But back on my lesson here, it'll look a little bit different. We have our course navigation. We can open and close it over on the right-hand side. So we have some other questions coming in. So Karen King, welcome to the call. Can you show us how to do a gravity view in a course? I don't know if I have gravity view on a site right now. So that's how to do a navigation. So let me see if I could pull that up. Gravity view is something that works with Gravity Forms to take Gravity Form submissions and show them on the front end of your website. So if you have people submitting contact forms to you, you don't want to show those on the front of your website. But if you have like an experts directory, like at LifterLMS.com, we have experts on a list. We power that with a Gravity view. So people submit an application, and then the page at LifterLMS Experts is just a short code that pulls in all of the submissions for the experts Gravity form into the website. So it's kind of like a way that you can run directory websites without having to manage all of the stuff manually yourself for the directory. Let me see. I don't know if I'll be able to get to this in such a short time, but I know, Karen, you have access to the office hours Infinity bundle. So if you want to bring that question to the office hours as well, we could do a more tailored demo. But let me see if I can just get in fast enough. I could also just show the pages. I should probably just do that. Gravity Forms, download. I don't know what it's doing. There it goes. Okay, yeah, so I have the downloads on my computer, so if you want to jump into office hours with us a little bit later, we could talk through exactly how to use it. But Gravity View, for anyone who's curious, you may have heard of Ninja Forms, WP Forms, Formidable Forms, WS Form. There's a lot of forms plugins in WordPress. One of them, the original great, was Gravity Forms. And so a lot of add-ons and ecosystem have been built around Gravity Forms. Other forms tools have the ability to do this, but this is like Gravity Kit is a company that is not Gravity Forms. They're a company that builds add-ons for Gravity Forms. So within WordPress, there's Gravity Forms. Within Gravity Forms, there's Gravity Kit. So it's like ecosystems within ecosystems of people using products. And so Gravity View is a product from this company, Gravity Kit. I think it's the flagship product. But you can do things like maps. So if you have people all over the world as a part of your organization, or maybe you're doing like a real estate listing thing. Why can't I get this thing to stop scrolling sideways? Oh, okay, there's the pause button. They could submit a listing on a map, and the map would automatically populate their listing. So if you're doing meetups, there could be a listing service for the meetups on a map. If you're doing real estate listings, all the real estate listings people submit will automatically populate because you'll have a Gravity form where they'll submit the data for their coordinates, or they'll locate on a map where they're at, and then the Gravity view will show everybody on a map together. You could do member directories if you're doing like a job listing website. This is a great way to do that. I don't know what this is. this is, okay, employment applications. So if people are applying to your company and you want to have HR see everyone in one place and be able to export that as a spreadsheet, um, it's just basically ways that you can collect massive amounts of data from the public via forms, or however you collect the data via your forms, and then to display it in these creative ways where you can do a list, you can do a map, you can do like a whole directory. Testimonials, this is a great one. At the end of a course, you can ask for a testimonial, and then people can drop you a testimonial. It'll automatically appear on the front end of your website. So a lot of opportunities there. Office hours today. Office hours starts 1 hour from now. I'm in Pacific time, so it's going to be 12 p.m. Pacific time. I think 12 p.m. That would be 3 p.m. Eastern time. Right, 12 Pacific is 3 Eastern. Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure. But yeah, so 12 Pacific time. This one will be starting office hours 1 hour from now. You should have the link in your email. If you don't have that link in your email, check the Facebook group. And if you don't have access to the Facebook group or the email, send a message to help@lifterlms.com and say, hey, I'm an office hours member. How can I get the link? And they should be able to get it to you. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining today. I know it was kind of a low-key day. Not too much going on, but we talked about how to do certificates, how to do featured images, a lot of how to work with SkyPilot and customize it a little bit. So hopefully you have a more well-rounded understanding of how to use SkyPilot. And feel free to join us next week, and we will talk more about Gravity View next week. I know that one's a really fun one, but yeah, let us know if you have any comments between now and then, and I hope you have a good week.